Chew. Ever get that sinking feeling? That voice in the back of your head whispering that you're not where you're supposed to be? That by now, you should have achieved more, be more, or have it all figured out. If you've ever felt like you're falling behind in the race of life, I want you to know something right now. You are not alone, and you are not broken. Fact, that feeling is one of the most common and most misunderstood experiences of being human. 2. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and understand exactly why it happens. And, more importantly, how to break free from it for good. So let's start with the big lie, what I call the timeline illusion. Society is brilliant at creating these invisible, yet incredibly powerful timelines. You should be married by 30, have a house by 35, hit a certain career milestone by 25. These deadlines feel real, but they're completely made up. 2. They come from movies, social media, and what we think our parents expect. Your brain, which is a natural comparison machine, takes these imaginary finish lines and measures your real, messy, beautiful life against them. So that feeling of being late, it doesn't come from a real, objective measure of your life. It comes from comparing your unique journey to a cultural script that was never meant for you in the first place. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of why this feeling is so persistent. First, the classic social media trap. You are constantly comparing your behind-the-scenes reality, with all its struggles, doubts, and boring moments, to everyone else's perfectly curated highlight reel. You see the promotion, the engagement photo, the dream vacation. You don't see the years of hard work, the rejections, or the arguments that happened right before that smiling picture was taken. It's like comparing your rough draft to their finished, published book. Of course you're going to feel behind. Sect. Your brain is wired to focus on unmet goals. It's a survival mechanism. It remembers what you still need to do, the dangers you need to avoid, the tasks left on your to-do list. But it's terrible at acknowledging the progress you've already made. Think about it. Once you achieve a goal, how long do you celebrate before your mind immediately jumps to what's next? Your brain forgets to give you credit for the mountains you've already climbed because it's too busy scanning the horizon for the next peak. Another huge reason is that we fundamentally misunderstand what progress feels like. We expect it to be this dramatic, cinematic montage. We think success is a big, explosive event. But real growth, real progress, is almost always slow, quiet, and invisible in the day-to-day. It's one more workout. It's one more page written. Throw. It's one more difficult conversation handled maturely. These small steps don't feel like much on their own, but compounded over time, they create massive transformations. Because we don't feel that big aha moment every day, we mistakenly believe we're standing still. And all of this leads to a dangerous psychological trap I call progress paralysis. Here's how the cycle works. First, feeling behind creates an immense amount of pressure. You tell yourself, I need to catch up, and I need to do it fast. This pressure then makes every task feel bigger and more daunting than it actually is. That simple email you need to send suddenly feels like it carries the weight of your entire career. This feeling of being overwhelmed naturally leads to procrastination and avoidance. It's just too much to handle. But, of course, avoiding the task only makes you fall further behind, which then amplifies the original feeling of being late. You get stuck in this vicious loop of pressure, overwhelm, avoidance, and shame. 2. Digging yourself deeper into the hole you were so desperate to climb out of. This isn't just a behavioral problem. It becomes an identity problem. When you repeatedly tell yourself, I should be better by now, that thought doesn't just pass through your mind. It starts to become a core belief. It becomes part of who you think you are. You start identifying as the person who is behind, and once that's your story, your brain will do everything in its power to prove it right. It's called confirmation bias. You'll start to actively ignore your wins, dismissing them as luck or not a big deal. At the same time, you'll magnify every single flaw, every mistake, and every setback as definitive proof that you are, in fact, failing. You become your own harshest critic, gathering evidence to support a narrative that keeps you stuck. So, how do we break this cycle? How do we escape this prison of our own making? It starts with a fundamental shift in perspective. First, you need to replace timelines with trajectories. Forget about where you should be by a certain age. Instead, focus on your direction of travel. Are you learning? Are you growing? Are you moving forward, even by a millimeter? Direction matters infinitely more than speed. A plane that's 1 degree off course will end up in a completely different continent. As long as you are pointed in a positive direction, you are making progress. Second, you have to give your brain proof of progress. Remember how your brain forgets your wins? You need to become your own historian. Start tracking your small wins. At the end of each day, write down one thing you did that moved you forward, no matter how tiny. Did you go for that walk you were dreading? Did you finally make that phone call? These small victories are the data points that prove your negative self-story wrong. They give your brain tangible evidence that you are not standing still. Next shift, what you compare. Stop comparing your speed to others. You have no idea what advantages, privileges, or different circumstances they started with. Instead, if you must compare, compare consistency. Admire someone not for how fast they achieved something, but for their dedication to showing up day after day. This reframes success not as a race, but as a practice. And that is something you have complete control over. You also need to redefine what behen even means. Hola. We have this idea that growth is a straight, upward line. It's not. Growth is messy, cyclical, and not linear. There will be seasons of rapid progress and seasons of rest, reflection, and even what feels like regression. Sometimes, taking a step back is necessary to move forward in a healthier, more sustainable way. Your path is not supposed to look like anyone else's. Accepting the unique, winding nature of your own journey is a radical act of self-acceptance. So, let's bring this all together. Feeling behind in life doesn't mean you're failing. It's a sign that you're ambitious, that you have goals, and that you care deeply about your life. But it's also a sign that you are comparing yourself to a version of your life that was never real. You're measuring yourself against a ghost. You are not late. You are not behind. You are in the middle of your story. And the middle is always the messy part. It's where the character is struggling, learning, and fighting their way through the fog. But the middle is also where the transformation happens. You are not at the finish line. You are on the path. You are becoming. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content on navigating the psychology of a meaningful life. And share this with anyone you think might need to hear it. Remember to be kind to yourself. You're doing better than you think.